There you go.
Now you've recorded that.
Oh, fine, I'll say it again.
No, don't. We're going now.
No,
Hello,
no,
everyone, and welcome to episode 373 of 10 o'clock.
wait.
No, we've already begun. We've come too far.
No, we can fix this. We can fix this.
We fix nothing.
No, wait. Hold on. I can fix this. There you go.
Start recording anyway.
I did hit the record button. Like,
Well, yeah, I
you
know.
can see the red light
You see it
there.
on the red light on the thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm just laughing.
Yeah.
Right, now I have to do the intro again. Oh my.
Hello and welcome to episode
Oh, I haven't done the intro
373 10 o'clock. We are professionals that know how this works.
I'm so
Oh,
sure with this.
373 episodes, we still don't have a start episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to 10 o'clock. We have some amazing special guests back on the episode this week, and I think you're the only guest that I remember turn up. Sometimes we get guests turning up, and I'm like, oh, who are these nice people? But no, this is the second time we have had the privilege of having I would still want to say the only other real Warframe podcast on 10 o'clock. We have the two Cephalons from the Cephalon Squared podcast, Cephalon Greg and Cephalon Lucas. Say hello.
Hello. Greetings.
Hi.
Salutations.
Etc.
Hurrah.
Thank you for having us back on the show.
Why is it taking so long, Xeno?
Yeah, it's probably been year and a half.
Well,
No.
to be fair, we were going to have them closer to their 100th episode and their but I'm going to blame you, Loz. So,
What?
it's your fault that Lucas didn't have internet. Yeah, Loz. Oh,
Yep. It's all
Around
Loz's
our
fault.
episode
How dare you,
100.
yeah, Loz.
Sounds like live.
That makes perfect sense. No, to be fair, though, we were going to have you guys on, what was it, 3-4 weeks ago? But we had to postpone it.
Oh, yes. That's true.
Yeah. So, and then it was like, okay, well, this was the next available slot in our schedule, and there we go. Here we are.
You're right. It was Loz's fault. Correct. I mean, Lucas.
No. Don't try to put me.
Every podcast has to have someone that's blamed for everything.
Simple solution. He doesn't edit this. It's Joey's fault. There we go.
Oh, that's just mean.
I know.
I'm not even here.
Yeah.
Meanie.
I
It
know.
makes it easier.
Yeah. And hopefully all the clearer that it's a joke. But yeah, moving on.
Right, let us begin episodes like we normally do and show some emblems.
Yep, there they are.
So there we go. We've got our emblems that me and Xeno have found this week. And as the guests, you have the joy of choosing which you think is the winning emblem of the week. And you may use whichever criteria you wish to do so.
I'm going to have to go along with the red one.
I like money because money. money.
Sorry.
But the red one, Loz's find is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know what it is. There's like a lotus at the back, but then it's like a skull or something at the bottom.
No,
It's
it's
like a
Oni
demon
mask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oni mask. Yeah.
A Japanese Oni mask.
I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was going to say, like, if people don't pick Loz's, then I'm going to genuinely cry. Because when he said that to me, I was just like, yeah, this is going to blow the dollar sign out of the park. I mean,
But money.
It's a lot
But
better.
money.
But money, yes.
But money.
It is a dollar.
Xeno, I gotta ask, why that one?
What do you mean by that one?
I feel like you could have easily found
On
something,
your
a bit
Okay.
more.
Else.
Okay, right. Okay. I'm not going to admit that I woke up an hour and 15 minutes later than I needed to, right? I'm not going to admit that this was the first emblem that I found in my collection that I know I hadn't used. I'm not going to admit that I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I need to get my quote done, okay? right? I put a lot of time and effort into making sure I picked an emblem that really spoke to you guys. I couldn't anticipate that Loz was going to pick something better, you know?
Fair. I'm glad you didn't admit any of that.
Yeah. I mean,
Would've been a
that just
bad
made me out
joke.
to be incompetent.
Can't have any of that.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to make you explain why you thought a weird dollar spoke to them particularly, but I think we need to
Money.
move on.
Bills, y'all.
Money.
That's all.
It's money. I mean,
It's a
come
universal
on.
language, is it? Is it?
I mean, hell, you could see Greg was, he was thinking about it. You could see
Was
Greg was thinking about
For a
it.
little while, I looked at it and then I was like, nah.
Yeah.
But the dollar bill's a dollar bill.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Dollar-
if the gold on yours, Loz, had that cool, weird, stupid texture on it, right? Instantly, yours would have won hands down, right? No question.
Although I have to say, Loz,
Well, it-
your one looks exactly like a Chinese restaurant logo. Even though it's an oni, so it's a Japanese thing, but still,
Oh
it
my
looks
God.
very. I don't know.
And that's why I chose it, because I thought it spoke to both of you on this reason.
Oh, well, I am
saw-
Mr. Asia, of
Welcome
course.
to
Okay.
Oni Lotus.
Anyway.
Oh.
However, if you wish to win 75 platinum for your platform of choice, go into the description below where you'll find a link to a Google form, and you can, just put in. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just pointing below.
Where you'll find these emblems, and you'll find a bunch of questions. What are you doing?
We're doing cool things. This is what YouTubers do.
Okay. And yeah, win platinum. Do it. You know you want to. Right, moving on.
Smash
Yes.
that like button.
Subscribe.
Right.
Hit that notification bell.
Oh, dear.
You invited this.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is great. This is great.
Oh, no, we're not. No, you guys are great. It's us. We can't do
Bloody
anything.
Australians.
We're derailing ourselves. It's fine. Right, moving on. Let's do the dojo dusting. So, dojo
No.
dusting. What?
No,
What?
we've got to do what? That's not what goes next. Do you know what goes next?
Dojo dusting?
No.
I'm looking
We
at
have
the time
to talk
list.
about the weather.
Oh my god.
Now I'll save you. Is the jingle just like? Do you play that, or do you actually do it each time?
We do
with
play it.
weather rambles.
We
Oh,
play that one.
yeah.
The rest, the rest we sing.
Right. Oh, that was
The
the
rest
jingle.
we sing, yes. It's the only jingle that our listeners have bothered to make for us.
Ah.
I keep
so-
asking people to make songs, but nah.
Did you do the Dr. Cephalon? You do that one live then?
Oh, fuck, we
Yeah.
do that so well, though.
Sometimes that ruins your voices, and I'm like, oh no.
Beautiful. No, it doesn't ruin our voices. It's perfect. You know
Do you
it.
want to give our audience a sample?
Yeah, we do. Come on, Lucas.
Okay.
We don't not want to do it. Go. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Dr. Cephalon.
Cephalon.
See, they commit, Drew. We don't have no sound effects. We just go like, oh, Dojo Dusting.
Bloody intro.
Yeah, I think theirs is a better quality, if I'm honest.
We're
But how is the weather down there, every gentleman?
I don't know. We're not prepared. You didn't ask us to prepare a weather section. My God.
right, well,
What
okay,
am I,
it's-
a meteorologist? Do I look like a meteorologist? 'Cause I'm not.
It's 8:45 at PM. It's 26
At
degrees
PM?
Celsius. Yeah, at PM.
Oh.
80% humidity. And for those Fahrenheit users, it's 78 Fahrenheit. It's freaking hot.
Whereas down here in Melbourne, 2,000 kilometers away from young Lucas, it's 14 degrees Celsius, 57% humidity, and 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Beautiful. There you go. See? Meteorologist.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. No, because the whole reason I was going to do this is just because it's. And what have we got in England? What's it like where you're at, Drew?
Wet.
Wet and miserable.
Oh no.
Cold.
genuinely though, like I think it was like 8 a.m. this morning. There was like a giant, massive rain shower. I'm like, oh yeah, Wales, yeah.
No, but at the same time, you say massive rain shower, but you have to add the prefix.
No, it was fucking heavy.
But even heavy for here is like nothing to like anywhere else in the world when they talk about weather, because our weather, we complain about it, but in truth it's actually really mild. We're like, oh, it's cold. It's like, no, it's about 4 degrees. Oh, that's so cold. It's like, no, in Canada it's minus 17 or something crazy. It's like, okay, how much? Like, oh, we've got snow. How much snow you got? Oh, we got like a tiny little bit of snow. Oh, close all the roads. In Canada, they've got
snow this morning.
Yeah.
Actually, and then 4 degrees is pretty cold.
No, yeah, but it's cold. And then like you're saying for like that, it's like, oh, it's this temperature at night, and like when we get a heat wave, we get it for like 2 days. It's like, so you guys tell us about this amazing weather. We're like, oh, it's miserable. What about next week? Miserable. What about next week? Miserable.
Still wet.
Pretty sure it'll keep being miserable.
It's just generally wet, but not too wet, and just a bit miserable. Right. Anyway, let's move on, Xeno, from my distraction.
How long has this intro been, Loz?
11
minutes. Right, okay.
My face. Okay. Dojo Dusting.
Dojo Dusting. So, 2 things. One, I'm still a Muppet, and I've still forgot to do the supporter questions for this week. During the Christmas holidays, I will sort something out. And dear God, if I'm made to work, I will kill someone. And 2...
Probably me.
And 2... Are we definitely doing the thing next week, Loz?
Yes.
Cool. Right. So next week we are not doing an episode of 10 o'clock.
We're finally going to take a break. We haven't taken a break in what, 7 years?
Nearly 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I think about 6,
7 years.
Something like that. 6
Yeah.
years, 7 years.
No. It will be if we did it a week later, it would be 7 years on the dot.
Oh wow. Okay.
Christ on a crutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Xeno's been working really hard, so we thought let's have a break and just for once. I think we can earn 1 week off. We did. There's only the first year we had the same. That's the week we had off the last week of Christmas, last week of the year for Christmas. So we're having 1 week off, and we're back in the new year. Yeah. I mean, we'd probably just moan about the event and how probably, I'm going to guess, if we did next week's topic, I'll do it for you now. We're doing the event, and don't worry, the clever people who know how to ruin the game have found a way to completely ruin the scoring system. And what should you do about this? Well done, there we go. And as always, events get ruined. Moving on.
I mean, the big thing is
success.
The event's lasting until the 18th of January. It's a whole month. Like, Loz, when I said, oh, don't worry, it's a whole month, I was actually joking, right? I was actually joking. I thought it was only going to be during the Christmas period. And then like, oh, no, it is genuinely a month.
Oh, so you just guessed?
I just guessed. But anyway, right. So we will be back in the new year on the 4th of January.
Right, yes.
Cool. Right.
Yes.
Moving on to the next section, which is the topics. So, I mean, I imagine that, Lucas and Greg, they don't know that we've rearranged everything, Loz. So they might be preparing for graphs right now. And like, oh, but
yes,
my body was ready for graphs.
They can remember 1.5 years.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Hey, they remembered 1.5 years ago, right? I didn't. I thought they were on twice.
Is it still your shortest episode to date?
I don't remember. Right. Anyway. I was surprised at how short the first episode was. I'm so glad it was only 30 minutes of me rambling like a muppet.
That was such a mess.
Oh, it was.
Oh, yeah. Have you guys done that? Have you ever gone back and looked at episode 1 of Cephalon Squared and been like, what were we thinking?
We try not to. Actually,
we have other people do it for us.
Yeah, we often get reminded that episode 1 was bad.
Yeah, no, we for 365 we did a retrospective and every frame of pause on the first ever episode of 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so we played it, paused it, just going through it. And what were we thinking? Wow. We put up the topic on the screen of from the Warframe forums. We found this topic. We didn't explain what the topic was. we just started talking about the topic as if assuming that everyone at home would just know what we were talking about.
As if they would read it. Oh, no one wants to be read aloud. And like, oh my god, it's
no one
stupid.
what we're talking about. But at the same time, we also watched the footage of what it was, and oh my god, it just 8 years ago, Warframe had such a different feel to it. Like the sound was different, like it's all dark, and it's just why can't we go back to that in some ways? Oh well,
I'll have to go back and watch your first episode just for
don't
shits and gigs.
As long as
you asked me to, you said it nicely.
Right, no, just watch 365. Just watch 365 because that way you have the benefit of listening to me and I think watching me cringe and just like collapse into my god, listen,
pause and cringe utterly.
It's also pretty good. Yeah, that's a tough one. Do I want to actually just watch it raw and terrible and then like hang shit on you about it, or do I want to watch you get crushed inside and say this is the moment where his heart is crushed into
we should Greg, we should totally do a reaction.
Oh my god. See, I don't feel that. Actually, I don't.
If you're okay with that, we might do that.
Go for it.
That would be brilliant.
I don't feel that you guys are suffering enough during this part of the episode. You need to suffer more.
I will suffer soon enough.
No. I'm saying that's what you'll say with us suffering in reaction to ourselves. Yeah, it's getting very Inception here, right? Should we move on to the topics?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, Loz, can you update the time to now?
Yeah.
Right. So our one and only topic for this week is arbitrary timers, the importance of engaging the player beyond doing nothing. Right.
What was the middle bit?
Player. So
that makes sense.
Yep. As of late, many missions have taken the vanilla mobile defense route. You press X, then wait. A mook might come up and thwack the objective, but it wouldn't be hyperbolic to say you do nothing and wait out a timer. Is there a way? Muppet.
Weak. No, mook is a term. I can't remember what from one, but it's like it means a normal trash mobs or trash mobs. Just like so Grineer Lancers, for instance, they would be referred to as mooks, whereas something like something big as a boss. It's the difference between a boss and a mook mob. I can't remember what it's from though. It is from.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is a term.
Okay.
I don't know what the cool kids say these days.
No. Actually, to be fair, I think you don't know what the cool kids said those days, because I'm pretty sure this is like a really, really old thing. Unless it's come back in resurgence, unless it's become popular again. Anyway, moving on. Is there a way to mitigate it? Absolutely. And it has been done before. If anyone remembers, Orb Valis bounties can have an objective that requires you to break out Solaris residents in a cell. It's essentially a mobile defense, but with a slightly better, impactful twist of occasional enemies that drop data. Collecting the data will reduce the timer. That right there is engagement. Going around the area and eliminating marked targets to alleviate the timer. DevStream 150 had a segment showing off the Corpus Railjack, where they literally transitioned past a minute and half a mobile defense in the clip. Oh, a minute and a half, sorry. It's almost insulting how many arbitrary timers have been implemented lately when there are mechanics in-game that could justify more than doing nothing. While not all missions have taken this creatively deprived route, it's apparent enough we're seeing a timer that can't be influenced is infuriating when there's a robust and fun movement system that isn't being taken into consideration. Sorry, it just felt like it broke down in terms of grammar.
That was a long way of saying, I hate timers.
Pretty much. I do like the fact that they compared it to the Orb Valis
That is a
bounty
good
stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
actually forgot that existed.
how do people feel? Do you
Yeah.
want to just ramble
Yeah,
on a little bit?
Oh, wait, before you go, I found a definition for it. A mook. A less powerful enemy, easily dealt with, often appearing in large groups to present some challenge. A thug, used especially in the context of pen and paper role-playing games. There you go. That's where it comes from.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
It's like a pile of zombies would be mooks. Yeah.
I didn't do a lot of pen and paper role player games, so maybe that's why. That's cool.
Timers! Yay!
I don't know. I think personally, what we saw on the demo isn't exactly what we're going to see in the game. If it is reflective of everything that we're going to see, then okay, fair enough. Disappointing, but we don't know. There might be different things that are on offer. If let's say that is what it is, I'd probably still be okay with it, because in the end, we're just shooting stuff until a timer goes by, or shooting stuff until a certain number of enemies appear and we collect the data that they drop. Either way, it's sort of a arbitrary do something for a certain period of time until you're ready to move on to the next piece. Personally, I'm not that... I do see what they're saying, though. There's probably cleverer ways of doing things, I think is what they're saying.
Yeah. Okay, so if you think to the latest stuff with Deimos and whatnot, it makes perfect sense where they're coming from, because basically everything from the Deimos vaults, it does have that whole timer mechanic to it. Defending the sludge maker at the front of the tunnel, clearing out the tunnel of toxic fumes to be able to progress further in. So I can understand where they're coming from. Recently we have had a massive influx of basic timer, stand around, kill a couple of random enemies. Yeah. So I can definitely see where they're coming from.
Well, yeah, and I think the point they do say about the Orb Valis, that is actually a really good one. Though I remember when I first saw that and thinking, oh, I'm not just here to stand around and do nothing, and I'm actually... Then you start actively waiting and looking for the next one to spawn. So you're actually like, oh, what's going to happen next? But I don't know what things could they really put in, because obviously the thing is, here's my one issue with their suggestion, and I do, because it does form an important part of gameplay. Going right, we need the players to stay here for a bit just to expand out the time and make them do something. Often the problem though is that, especially the basic one, mobile defense, the actual threat on the actual console is normally really minimal. I mean, I don't know about you guys. How has anyone actually even often remember failing a mobile defense?
Yes.
Maybe a sortie, maybe an accidentally failing because they didn't care.
It's those. So first off, there was the incident of a shining example of the Warframe Partner Program.
But that was a shining example of the one Partner Program.
No, the big thing that I remember whenever it comes to mobile defense is never do it next to a sentient that sort of like curls up and becomes a disco ball, because it will absolutely shred the mobile defense point and you just have to do the mission again. So it's more a case of that's collateral damage than it actively trying to destroy the mobile defense terminal. We've always said for the longest time that mobile defense terminals should be, as the name implies, mobile. And I completely agree with that sentiment. I kind of get where... Okay, so a question I want to propose to you guys. What is the mission mode that you find the most laborious, the most boring, the most, oh dear God, why am I going through this?
Defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
just defense.
So the big thing is, like, with and I think I'm in agreement with you there as well. Like with defense, you have to just mow down enemies. Yeah, you have to you have to stay in one place. You have to mow down enemies and just wait for the last dude to eventually turn up and get killed before it moves on to the next wave. With mobile defense, at least it's constrained to a timer so that you're not forced to hunt down the last dude to then move on. Like, could you just imagine if, like, oh yeah, we've spawned 20 dudes in the entire environment, right? You have to go kill all 20 before the lunchbox comes out of the terminal, right? That would be infuriating. Yeah.
So the flip of that would actually make defense more fun if the waves in defense were timed, so that if you didn't clear a wave, then the next wave's going to come. So that if you don't deal with the mobs, they'll just be more and more and more. That
adds more to the difficulty. Yeah, no, that would definitely make it a hell of a lot more enjoyable.
On the flip side of that, I do feel that you need to be able to get out of the defense more regularly. So instead of maybe doing it every 5 waves, maybe reduce it down to every 2 or every 3 or something like that. I feel like every 5 could be a bit too much, because the escalation, I feel, ramps up really quickly between just one wave. Yeah.
Oh no, I would just give you an exit button on the actual defense target that starts after wave 5, so that at any point, if you just feel it's too much, you can escape.
Right.
When you do it, there are rooms around that are completely unused, so it wouldn't be impossible for them to just throw in an actual exit. Somewhere that you could just go, okay, cool, I've done what I need to do. Things are getting hairy. Let's just run to the exit like any other mission.
My only issue with that is that it makes then what happens is you're standing there defending this person in a cryopod until you go, right, I'm done now.
Yeah.
See,
I'm out.
Whatever happens from now, it's your problem.
Exactly.
Put it in a box. That's yours.
Well, alternatively, if you want to, if you want to go thematic on that, what you could do is use this button that Loz has proposed, and instead of actually going, right, this is your last wave, you have to clear this last wave, and then it's over, right? So then thematically, yes, you still protected it, but you have, maintained that control. I mean, the only problem then is making sure that people don't just go, wave 1, hit button.
No, but it wouldn't start till wave 5.
Okay, fine. Wave 5, hit button, because you're taking everyone with you.
No, but no. Sorry, just to jump that one. But you wouldn't, because we have you separate extractions now. So if you push the button, you only take yourself out.
Right.
You can leave a survival member now, so you need to remember that.
Okay.
I think that's your 7-year brain talking there. Sorry for interrupting you there.
That's right. If you have one of those endings, I interrupted Lucas. Over to you, Stan.
Fine. Go and talk.
I was just going to say, if you have one of those endings where this is the final round, then it's not endless anymore, is it? Or it's just pretend endless. Pretendless.
But to be fair, isn't that the same case for just regular defense missions?
Already.
Yeah. So weirdly enough, we fixed a mission type that wasn't even on the table. So good job, guys.
Yeah. Well done. Right, fix it.
But we
tend to fix a lot.
Yeah, good job.
We do. We fix a lot. We fix a lot of things. So you should hire us.
With regards to the whole mobile defense thing, let's keep ring it to that. So we don't feel that.
I have to joke, I've got the concept where they just hire the 4 of us, they just plonk us in a room and then just sit there with this. wait for the next Warframe for us. We're just sitting in a room.
I want a white science coat.
We've said this on the show many times, but DE needs to give us Warframe Maker.
Yeah. Mario Maker, but for
Mario Maker, but for Warframe.
Well, they teased back in 2014. They teased during one of the Tenno VIPs that they were looking to do quest-based.
Player-made missions.
Yeah, exactly, and community-based quests, and it just never saw the light of day. However, if it is just like, here's arbitrary billboard mission, right, from Cephalon Squared, have fucking fun, totally 100%. By the way, there's a Flappy Zephyr section to it,
We'd call it Floppy Zephyr, but yeah.
but even so, okay. So let's put a little fence around it. We're not going outside of
back to mobile defense.
Exactly, we're staying with mobile defense right now. So, do you guys feel that sitting around waiting for a minute and a half is that big a deal?
No.
No, mostly because I just don't play mobile defense.
Why don't you play mobile defense?
Well, I don't like defense, and mobile defense is just defense in chunks.
It's fair.
It is.
Loz?
Do you remember they promised years ago, and I literally mean years ago, that mobile defense was one of the next mission types to be fixed? And what we were going to do is the only definition they gave is that we're going to change it to we're going to defend a Lotus drone in the the world sort of environment you go for when you do your mastery rank ups.
Yeah.
It was going to be that, and we were going to go into a computer and defend a Lotus drone as it moved through the system, hacking different sections. That's all they said, but we never got that, and that would be really cool.
We got that with Lloyd in the isolation vaults.
Yeah,
I was also
thinking... it was more just on that tile set, because I do really love the mastery rank things. The style of the world, the weave. Yeah, and we never get to really use that. God, that was like 8 years ago. Oh God, right. Anyway, forget about that. Sorry, just my brain. That's never going to happen.
I think one problem that we can experience with mobile defense is, especially in things like Railjack, is I've activated the timer, and then there's no enemies spawning because the whole system is like, it can't handle it for some strange reason. We can only have 3 guys in the world at the same time. And it's focused on shoving them out with the Railjack. I mean, yeah, it's an exaggeration with just 3, but even so, there's no consistency between what's happening inside a Grineer or what to be Corpus structure compared to what's happening outside with the Railjack. Either no one's fighting anything in the Railjack, or no one's fighting anything in the asteroid. Right. Yeah. So I think in instances with mobile defense where you've got nothing to do, right, literally nothing to do. I mean, this person's saying nothing to do, but I think that includes killing enemies. I'm referring to literal nothing to do. Then I get it, but
that's pretty dull. Yeah.
Well, Warframe is a really great game for showing you the extremes of movement and activeness, and then the game goes, right, now sit around and stare at this thing.
Stand in this room.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. You're doing a great job.
I think the worst example of this, and I know it's not technically mobile defense, but it really is, was Scarlet Spear was probably the best example of how bad this can get.
Yeah.
Let's stand around in space.
Do I have some kind of weird rose-tinted glasses with that? Because I don't remember Scarlet Spear being as bad as everyone's complaining about.
I enjoyed Scarlet Spear.
I preferred the ground, the
I like the ground
side of things.
Yeah.
I think yes, and I think thinking back, Xeno
I was pretty much always ground. Yeah, because you guys were always space, and
we were always space. Yeah, right. Okay, because space consisted of, okay, let's go space team. Do, and I'm like, okay, I'm taking my Excalibur Prime because random team. What we got? We've got Limbo, who's just made the game pointless, and 2 Mesas that have just destroyed everything in 3 parsecs of this spaceship. What have I got to do? Watch them, I guess. They're looking pretty good. Yep.
I will agree with that. Like, whenever I did do space, that was a common occurrence.
Taking out the convicts was kind of fun, but yeah, being up in space, you just had to protect those spots, and Limbo made it a joke, like you said.
And for it being on a cool spaceship that you've never really done anything with, you think it was cool, but do you think we maybe could have interacted with bits of the spaceship or done something different? And whoa, what's that? Oh, instead it was God, this floating thing.
Yeah.
So
And there.
I want to.
Yeah, stand that. Yeah,
I want to propose a mobile defense 1.5 edition that I think may improve it. I think that first off, you should be able to hack the console. You can't use the cheat doodads, but you can actually hack the console to chop off time on it, like chop off 15 seconds. What?
As long as you don't get hit while hacking.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry, when you say chop off time, and my brain just gone to, sorry, Tenno, I've forgotten. It's actually double the time because it always is double the time.
Yeah. Or
alternatively, taking longer than expected. Yes, it's always taking longer than expected.
Yeah, stop dividing things by 2. Your estimates suck. But the other thing, oh god. The alternative is doing it the route of Valis, where there's a dude that spawns in the environment, you kill the dude, and again, it shaves off time. I mean, how do you guys...
I like the idea that second one is a pretty good idea, especially it fits pretty thematically as well. Like you're defending a particular console, and you've got a specialized enemy that's coming running at you, thinking, "Oh shit, he's the engineer that's dedicated to that console," and he drops something that gives him access to it. So thematically, I think that's a much better idea.
Greg?
Yeah, sort of like an inverse Demolist.
I said Greg. Greg talks now.
What?
Greg talks now.
Oh, we need a thing to hold, so we see.
To be honest, we need a conch.
Yes.
I don't know personally, because I just think it's a little arbitrary that some guy, and there's 5 of them, all come along at the right time, just running up with their data. I'm fucking coming with my data. What's he going to do with it?
Well, ignoring the lore elements to it, like let's focus on gameplay first. We can patch.
It's better than standard. It's better than a standard stand there and shoot everyone mobile defense. But I think personally, it's only marginally better.
So, what do you think about hacking the console to shave off time?
Hacking the console and needing to protect yourself so that you don't get hit while you're hacking the console, I think, is slightly more active. Shooting a guy who's running out there and picking up his data, yeah, it's better than standing there doing not much, apart from just shooting dudes.
Well, what if they went the interception route, and if he gets to the panel before you can stop him, he adds more time on?
Well, that would be good. He doesn't really quite reach the panel, does he? But yes, I think interception was an effort at making a better defense or making a better mobile defense, because it definitely is a better mobile defense. I don't know. I agree. I see where the questioner is coming from, but I still don't think that is a really massively different experience just to shoot some dude who drops some blue thing that you've just got to pick up to shave off a little bit of time. It's, to be honest, I didn't even know it did shave off time. I thought you just got a bonus by killing all 5 of them. Didn't pay enough attention. So if it did take off time, cool. Okay, now that I know that, maybe I will more actively kill those guys faster. But I always thought it just felt like mobile defense length, and it was just extra steps.
Loz?
I don't know if it does now.
It does.
I thought it does. You sure?
It does. Yes. Yeah, it definitely does.
Okay.
But how do you feel about the whole hacking versus shooting a dude out in the wilderness from the mobile defense 1.5 idea?
Well, no, I want more. I want both. There should be a massive variety. I mean, that's fine for the Valis, and I like the idea of hacking. But then the thing with hacking is I've never understood why we only just hack once. Why can't there be sometimes where
no, you do it multiple times. You just keep going, right?
And it gets harder and harder and harder, though. There's something like that would be better.
How's about we have both, right? Hacking reduces the time on the mobile defense countdown, but there's dudes out in the environment. There's panels out in the environment, and if a dude gets to a panel, it stops the hacking and the mobile defense entirely. So you have to deal with both. So he gets to a terminal, kicks you out of the hacking, it pauses the mobile defense, you have to go kill it, and then you can go back to hacking, doing the whole continual hacking thing to reduce it down.
I like that idea because it moves you away from where you are as well. He's got a separate panel that he can get to.
Yeah.
That would be better. And I think Loz hit the nail on the head by saying, I just want more. Anything more than just standing there shooting dudes is a good thing.
I mean, I'd love to see one that, and this sounds incredibly weird because I'm just coming off the top of my head, where the thing you've brought to the mobile defense terminal, right, is not a data pad. Let's say it's a special relic, because we have to open up relics, right? Yeah. And the terminal you're defending is a special opening thing with lasers, like 4 lasers all around it. And you put the relic in the middle and the lasers point at it. And if there's only one player, the player has... This is the tricky thing I find with this, and that I love to give different jobs to do, but it has to also work for one player, it has to work with 4 players. That maybe one person has to continuously go on it and reposition where the lasers are going, so they have to keep rotating or adjusting lasers. And the enemies will destroy the lasers, and if they destroy too many lasers, you just fail. And the more lasers they destroy, the time gets put on. But then you can have it that other players have to, I don't know, if you've got more than one player, they also have the job of picking up things and powering up the lasers around the room. So that way you've got people doing one thing in the middle of the room, who's the hacking person or whatever, but they're doing something different. They're opening up a thing with lasers that they have to keep spinning and rotating, because they'll keep going out of position. They have to keep moving them. And they got other people doing some other different task. I like the variety of tasks within what's going on, and that you could also expand it that if there is one player, well then you never have to plug in terminals because they're permanently fueled, that so that it can work for one player. They're not forever going, I've got to spin the lasers now, I've got to plug in the thing, because that's too much work. But the more people there are, the more tasks get added on.
I like it, but I think you shouldn't at any point in time turn around and just say there's fewer variety of the tasks. I think it just be there are fewer active tasks at the same time.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
My concern is that there's really difficult ground. Yes, you have to make it so that it's playable by one person as well as 4 people. The problem is what's the name of the Harrow Operation Pacifism Defect? It's the
defection.
The defection.
Defection.
Yeah, so the defection mission mode, it is categorically better for you to do it solo than with even just one additional person, only because you go from having 2 simultaneous teams to manage to just 1 team to manage. And it's like, it's instantly easier. And so that is something that I would want to avoid with your suggestions. So it's
the best of times.
Go on.
I was just going to say, at the best of times, I like avoiding having to rely on people having brains.
Yeah. So
you cynic.
People
Cool.
too often don't know what they're doing and they fuck shit up.
This is wrong.
If you look at the 2 on paper side by side, the Harrow one, I already forgotten his name.
Defection.
That's how bad. Defection. Yeah. That's how bad of a mode I think it is. Arguably, it is a better mobile defense than mobile defense.
Yep.
But people don't tend to like it because there's just too much to do. There's too much going on. So really, you got to find that middle ground between the 2. You got to make it better and more interactive than mobile defense, but you can't cluster it up as bad as defection.
I would actually argue the problem with mobile defection, is
Says the person who says we're only going to talk about mobile defense from now on.
No. We've spoken about the mobile defense part. The barrier's gone down. The fence got broken, Loz. Right? Anyway. No. So I think the problem with defection though is it's very much a case of, will you guys please hurry the fuck up? Right?
And you have to go further each time.
Yeah, it's. I think the problem it was really common in World of Warcraft. Loz won't let me have the story time for this, so
You got time.
oh, okay, cool. I got a story time. Right. So in World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King, there was a dungeon called Halls of Stone. Yep, and it had an NPC that you had to escort from start to the end, and he fucking walked everywhere. So he traveled half the speed as what you could, right? And then whenever he would, oh, look, there's some enemies over there. He would run over there, start hitting them. You'd kill the pack of enemies, and then he'd run back to where he actually started running and then start walking. It was, and so Blizzard put in a penalty if you left the dungeon using the looking for group system, that you'd have to wait 10 minutes before you could do another dungeon. But the problem with that dungeon, it was longer than fucking 10 minutes, right? So even if you took the penalty, you would get into another dungeon faster than actually completing Halls of Stone. Eventually, Blizzard actually addressed the problem and changed it so that the NPC would actually move at the same speed as you. And it was like, thank fucking Christ.
Wow, that's bad.
And I feel...
No, that's it. You're out of time.
I'm talking about Warframe now. Okay. I think, getting on my bloody toes there, I think the problem with defection is that the NPCs that you are protecting move so goddamn slow, and they don't necessarily move together. You can actually get someone that is lagging massively behind. I think,
or they get knocked down by an enemy, and you got to wait for them to catch up.
I feel that instead, like, just to briefly touch on this, one, the Grenier or something, you can fucking just pick them up, just carry them. Right? Just, you can't use your guns or anything. You give them a piggyback, you get them there a lot faster. You can't bullet jump, but you can at least double jump and, slide and shit like this. There you go. You're moving them faster, but you're completely vulnerable to enemy attack, right? That's one thing you can do to improve that. In addition, instead of having 4 guys, put it down to 1. Because it is such a pain in the ass to manage 4 people in a team. I'd much rather have 4 individuals than 2 teams of 4. Sorry, I'm going to shut up now.
I just want to check.
Yeah.
I assume you're complaining about the getting the NPCs out, but do you often inject them with drugs?
You can do that.
You can make them run faster by injecting them with stims.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
How do you do
Injecting
that?
him with drugs now.
There's 4 drugs you can inject them with: calcifin, hardened skin, fortifying against damage, restricting movement; adrenaline, elevates adrenaline levels to enable faster movement while increasing sensitivity damage; refract, coats target in a film that refracts light, allowing undetected movement; and clotcher, revives the target that's bleeding out and provides a bonus to revive any allies in range. Yeah, Cynthia. That's where you can inject them.
Literally the only use for these things.
Yeah, literally, just random people. Get us out of here, Tenno. That's fine. Line up, inject, right, run, inject. Take some adrenaline, just jacked. Go.
Right on the left.
So do you have to do all 4 individually?
No, you can only do. I think you can only give them 1.
No. Do you have to do all 4?
No, it's a group. I think it's per group.
Right, so it's per group, and you can only give them 1 of the 4 different drugs.
Yeah, because it's trade-offs, yeah.
Nah, fuck it. Just give them all 4. Like, you fucking OD them. Like, I prefer my carrying thing. You're like, oh, you're OD.
Then you have to carry it.
Yeah, I'll have to carry it.
The carrying thing, right? We know that DE is looking at putting necromechs in normal missions. We can just use the Bone Widow to carry them to
Widow's first
safety.
ability, yeah.
Oh my god.
Carry in inverted commas. It's a kind of carrying.
I mean,
Wait,
they still lose health. Yeah, we're still siphoning life off them, but
Hold on. Are you proposing to use
Yes,
the pacifists as human shields?
a little bit, yes.
Okay.
Not necessarily. We impale them each like a kebab on the end of your dealie. Just chong, and then run along with 4 of these dudes hanging on your thing. Hey, off we go.
well, I mean, if they're dead, then you don't have to worry about the red veil.
Yeah, but I think you also don't win the mission. But anyway, should we move on to the replies?
We won't kill them.
They'll just be bleeding out slightly. It's still good. It's still
fine. It's fine.
It's just a flesh wound.
Exactly.
Just but a
We've
scrap.
got stims. Stim them afterwards.
Oh my god.
You don't even feel that. Done.
We promise there is no long-term ramifications of injecting you with these
What
drugs.
hole through your torso? No hole through your torso. Yeah, have some drugs.
Walk it off. It's fine.
Right.
Where's Trinity? Bless them. Go on, heal them up. That'll be right.
Wait, if you give them the stimulant that makes them more stealthy and invisible, does that mean when you pick them up with the Bone Widow, the Bone Widow will be invisible?
Because you're absorbing it.
Right. Should we?
It's like a baby gets the drugs through the breastfeeding. But anyway, go on.
With that lovely image, let's move on to the reply.
I legit hate mobile defense types too much of them. At least have something like kill 100 robot enemies to recharge something for Corpus/infested in Demos. Why is punctuation such a terrible thing? At least have something like kill 100 robot enemies to recharge something. For Corpus/infested in Demos already has that for summoning that assassination target / something for So it already has that for summoning that assassination target. And then all of a sudden, /something for Grenier. Such little things where situation can be longer or shorter depending on play style. Yeah, I like the idea of player impact. Players' effects having impact is the key thing there.
I think a really terrible instance of standing around and waiting is actually a lot of the boss fights. Things like Sagas Ruck or Vehek, I'm just... Oh, God. Yeah. I'm just sat here. Yeah, I'm waiting for you to actually do something so I can kill you. Yeah.
Can you hurry up and get down here now? Come on, down here.
Come into my frost bubble.
Yeah. Anyway, next.
If they add a mechanic where you can collect items to reduce the timer, they still want it to take X minutes. Meaning they will have to increase the base counter to X times 2 and then make sure that no more than Y items that decrease this timer actually drop so players can reduce this below original X. In the end, you're still sitting there one-shotting enemies that spawn too slowly, waiting either for the timer or the timer reducing drop to appear. I can see that's really cynical of it, but at least it's something. I mean, yeah.
I mean, hell, you could make it so that I don't agree with this, but you could make it so that there's a percentage drop chance for this item and any enemy can drop it. And then, okay, now I just got to kill waves and waves of enemies to try and get this item to drop and then make the thing go faster.
Same thing in the end.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, if you can just wipe rooms with... Sarin, then maybe you could do it faster. But personally, I prefer the idea of what we were talking about earlier with the whole hacking and the dude preventing you from hacking and, making it more interactive.
Proactive,
yeah. Rather than just, I want this to hack faster by killing people.
Yeah, kill them to death.
Not sure how that works, but keep going.
I'd say Disruption was a great addition in terms of player engagement. It incentivized people to actively kill enemies for keys and look for demolishers to finish faster, while still having a hidden timer due to key drop rate and demolisher movement speed. Yeah, I think that's a bit too far saying about hidden timers. The game has a key timer already. I mean that when you put the key into the terminal, there is a timer in general. It's just, you know, if you
it's a pointless timer.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's there.
Hidden
timers. It's a game. It's all mechanical.
Sorry, but I don't understand the point to this. What?
They're saying
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it gives you the ability. Well, I don't know if summarizing is hard.
No, I know why they put the timers in the disruption mission. It's because on occasion the demo list can get stuck on the terrain, and as a result, you can't find it. Yeah. So they put in a timer to make sure that you can still at least progress.
Yeah, but they're saying that they're basically saying disruption is good because, you know, it is, at least it's active, is what they're really saying.
Yeah.
They're just doing it in a bit of a cynical way. Okay, the last one is the real. Oh, here we go. Right, the real solution. Well, the real solution there. Okay, the real solution there is just to make game modes that are hinged on the player rather than the timers. It progresses based on you doing things first and foremost. Game modes like Disruption sit atop that ladder, but others like Excavation are sort of close, depending on how well enemies spawn. That doesn't mean that game modes can't have a timer span goal, but it's about balancing the timer with the actual objective so that what the player actually has to do should be more of a limitation to them than the timer.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Excavation's a good example too, because Excavation is 100% dependent on frickin' annoying enemies with the stupid frickin' batteries to drop.
But
Excavation would be a hell of a lot better if it was a little bit more predictable, but it would also be probably too easy if it was a bit more predictable. So, I like what they're saying.
The random side tangent on Excavation. The one thing I would love to know is why the enemies decide to only bring the batteries when we need them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Wait. Oh, here's a battery. Oh, fuck, it's a Tenno.
Actually,
it's like the Tenno are digging up things. Quick,
a battery now.
Actually, one thing that would be good is if you actually saw in the environment here are corpus, or
it'd be great if occasionally, randomly, a corpus spawned their own drill.
Exactly.
Go hunt that down.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so because it we're here to collect Oxium because the Corpus or Grenier are here collecting Oxium. So we know that this place is a good place to collect Oxium. It is Oxium, isn't it? No, Cryotic. Sorry, my bad. Right. Cryotic. You know, so we will take their batteries for our drills, right? We can make drills a dime a dozen, but batteries, that technology is far beyond us. So again, it makes sense. But the thing is, the enemies, they just turn up and like, yeah, we have the thing you need. Don't know why we have it, but we do. I thought it was a nice accessory. It makes my suit all blue. You know?
No, but they even have a special backpack for it.
Yeah, I know.
They bring the backpack, and if the enemies just decided, oh wait, the Tenno are here digging, right? How about we all go on a lunch break? And then the Tenno will be like, oh, there's nobody coming. How are we going to power our drill? Oh, I guess we'll have to go home. Right after lunch break. Oh, the Tenno have gone. Well, they've probably all just buggered off because there's no batteries.
They left an excavator there. Let's go charge it up.
Yeah, let's go charge their excavator now. We'll use that. It just doesn't make sense that they only bring the batteries when we want them to.
On very rare occasions, that does happen. Like, you know, you'd be doing an excavation on Earth, and all of a sudden, no enemies spawn. You don't get any damn batteries. You're like, shit. what am I even doing?
So a little bit of side trivia. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. If you do not have any active running excavators, the enemies stop spawning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can be running around in a completely empty, open environment. As long as you do not trigger an excavator, you're like, where's all the I want to collect batteries. I want to make sure I've got enough batteries to start. No. It's only when you've got a drill Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that is the thing. Maybe they think it's their drill, right? So they come out like, oh, I got to power our drill. That's not our drill. Yeah.
It's a Tenno.
Yeah.
Fooled again.
It must be because, yeah.
Maybe the Lotus is like, hey, look, there's a drill over there. You want to go power it? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Hey, Corpus. I mean, Fred. Just assuming it's Fred. Probably isn't.
Should be Fred. Right. I think we're done with this topic. Shall we move on? I was going to ask, do people want to quickly chat about their experience of the event so far, or do we want to save that for the next episode, Loz, in a couple of weeks?
Oh, let's talk now. No, we've got people here now. Let's talk. Yeah. Have you guys had a go at the event yet?
I have.
Okay. So
Lucas can talk.
Yeah.
On behalf of us.
How do you feel about it, Lucas?
I actually think it's pretty good, pretty well done. It's uniquely established, that's for sure. And I think one of the biggest things we're going for it at the moment is the fact that there are no real game-breaking bugs.
Ah.
Is that a dig at Cyberpunk?
No, this is a dig at DE.
Okay.
Because they literally just dropped this and went, okay, cool, now we're going on holiday, like they did last year with Railjack.
I don't know if they're on holiday next week.
They must be.
I do know that they're the trophies are coming next week. So I don't know if that's like a scheduled thing or something, but I would have thought they would want to keep someone on hand if they're adding additional things like the trophies.
They've probably got a few more days, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Just to iron out a few bugs before they officially go on leave. So they've probably got, I mean, Monday's the 21st, isn't it? So 2 or 3 days next week, they'll probably work through.
Yeah.
If they're like Cyberpunk, they'll probably be whipped until the 10-hour, 12-hour days until the 25th.
No, including the 25th. So,
including the 25th. I'm sorry, everyone. I apologize. I don't apologize.
All right. Anyway, Loz, thoughts, feels of the event?
So I still never got around to getting my actual Necromech. I love the fact that you can buy them now. And I'm actually going to try to do the event with the, what's it called? The Rent-A-Mech, first of all. I've given it a go so far, and it does seem viable. I've done the first mission. I think I got a score of about 600 without trying. That was solo as well. And so that's all right. It does still feel that the basic one you can just pick up because you've got both options. They're lying around, just broken Necromechs everywhere. They feel decent, and you can get through the mission. But I do would like a thematic reason why Father's gone. Oh no, we need to blow up these things. I'm gonna dump all of my junk Necromechs everywhere for you to use. I don't want them anymore. Just dump my junk everywhere. There is loads of Necromechs lying around, loads of them. So yeah,
interesting.
How
was it solo?
It was fine.
I'm interested.
It's a bit. Because of the fact that once you defeat the I can't remember the name of the bloody things.
Orphix,
yes. As soon as you kill the Orphix, it seems to despawn all the sentience in that room with it. So it's more of just a challenge to try and rush to just killing it, and then you're fine. And the fact that you can just basically dump the Necromech and just pick up a new one continuously, and you kind of just running between Necromechs. So I actually kind of liked it. Part of me thinks that maybe it would be they should have put a game mode version of this in where you have to use the rented Necromech, because that at least gives them a baseline of knowing exactly what the player has, so they can actually balance it off of that. And it's an endurance using only the ones provided, rather than the ones that because I went and bought the Necromechs and I'm going to gear them up, but I know that that's just going to be crazy overkill comparison to the rented one.
Yes, because then you're just putting every single player on exactly the same level. I think that's an interesting idea. I don't know whether everyone would like it, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and that's why I say put it in as an additional game mode on top of the things as a challenge. So you've got the normal game mode where everyone can play their pretty pink coloured Necromechs, and then the challenge one, which is you have to use our Necromech, which is set. So it's a set
challenge mode.
Version.
for operations. That's a really good point. Challenge modes in operations for solos, especially.
Still path option. You don't get your own you don't get your own necromech. You get rent a mech.
I like that idea.
But it was cool. Thematically, though, I do want to address this point. Why do we need warframes anymore?
Yeah. So before we go down that rabbit hole, I actually want to check on Greg. What's your thoughts and feels on the event first? I know you haven't played it, but maybe there's a reason why you haven't played it.
It's mainly work. I just haven't had a chance. It only got dropped a day or two ago, and I haven't had a chance to do it.
Yeah.
But I think it actually looks like a really good event. So I've watched some streams of it. It looks fun. I like the idea of being limited to necromechs. I accept your apology.
I hope the audience do. Yeah.
Discretion. Yeah, I think it looks like a lot of fun. I haven't had a chance to try it. It looks like a lot of fun. The rewards are pretty good. The rewards are very good, actually, especially if you include the arcanes. I'm down.
Lavos.
Yeah, Lavos. And his gun. And the arcanes.
Okay.
Good stuff.
So my take on it is it's kind of interesting. I'm super happy that you can buy the necromechs. I don't know if you could always buy the necromechs or if this came with.
It came with this.
So right, okay. So again, like I didn't want to go through the grind. We were talking about this before. I think Lucas was saying he hated. I know I've spoken to some people. Maybe it was actually Nazeth, saying that they hated the grind for the necromech parts. So just being able to flat out buy them is a godsend. I definitely bought the pair of them, and
No, it's not. It's not the parts because you can buy the plat. You can trade the parts. It's never been the parts.
It's the necroloid standing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I thought. Well, for some people that don't trade or whatever, I know his point was that just getting the parts was a pain because I think he went to build one of them. I think it was like the Void Rig, and then couldn't because he didn't have the blueprint or something.
Oh, you could only trade parts recently. You can only trade parts recently, and the only part you can't trade is the blueprint. And the only place you can get the blueprint from is it's the third or second of necroloid standing.
I think
so. Yeah, it was the same story for me. It's just it's a nightmare.
So I'm also happy that you can get this customized skin that makes it not look like
cool.
I'm using it right now in the footage. I mean, you're not going to be able to see the footage, Loz. It's itty bitty tiny.
It's still cool.
Yeah. But to me, it's just like generic run around, shoot shit. I mean, it's
kind of Warframe.
but we were talking about having secondary objectives and stuff like this, whereas this is okay. So we're desensitizing you from using your Warframes. Let's use necromechs. And Lars, if you now want to go on your comment.
Well, before I go into the talking about the thematic of it, I would say that I think for a Christmas event, it's fine. Like you're saying, it is shoot stuff, and it actually has encouraged me to, now that I can actually just buy a necromech and use it, or even just use the free one in the event, I'm actually going to engage with the content more. Demos did feel rather, I don't know, I just never really engaged like I really wanted to. And this actually makes me enthusiastic towards necromechs, which is, I think, kind of a good thing. So the fact they've stuck them in the market, now you can buy them. There's an event to encourage you to use them. I think for a Christmas event, this has been a good move by DE to promote the Demos necromech stuff. And that way I can go do Demos now, which I've been kind of umming on. Now I've got my necromech. Now I've got a reason to do it and move and go on it more. Whereas before it's just been like Demos, coins, effort. Oh.
And I put that effort in because I went through a bit of burnout, and I just couldn't be asked for a long time. And then I put the effort in, and I really wanted to get my necromech, and I came up against that blueprint brick wall.
But now you can buy it.
Now you can buy it, which is good. But on that note, the lore is, I think, that the Orphix is the only one of the sentients that can shut down warframes. So
No,
I think that's why
originally they couldn't, and it's that little sneak peek thing.
Yeah.
Ballast is basically, oh yeah, if you configure yourself to this frequency, use the back door.
Damn
but
it, Alice.
it still thematically doesn't make sense though, because okay, so it shuts down your warframe. So what does that entail when you are when you have your transference in the you basically you're shunted out of it. As soon as you hit the field, your operator is shunted out of the warframe. So why can the operator get in the necromech? It's still transference.
No, I think it's disabling the warframe's ability to accept the transference, whereas the necromech can accept the transference because it was never really intended to. Because the clunker.
No biological components, I guess.
Yeah. Well, not ones that aren't dead.
Hey.
Yeah. But it does feel like really kind of hand wavy. But I think Loz wanted to highlight something else with.
Well, but no, just in general, it's like are we going to rename the game Necromech now? Because now we're playing a game within a game that is Necromechs. Let's go play with Necromechs because warframes aren't needed anymore. And then in the future, if I was to design an army and I'm like, oh, I've designed this thing that can disable my enemy's most powerful weapon that was actually designed to beat the thing I'm disabling it with. And now I will mass produce this and then win the universe. I mean, why would you not? Oh, even if it's just these things. Scarlet Spear showed they've got a billion of these things.
Isn't that Warframe always? I mean, a year ago it was, let's rename Warframe Railjack because it's all about Railjack. And then Railjack died, and I think Necromech will end up going the same way, maybe.
But Necromech's a bit different because with the Railjack, you are still, that blended it seamlessly. On the ship, you're defending the ship with your warframe. When you're going to the enemy's base, you have to go through the base and do the objectives with your warframe. And then so the warframe is still intrinsically linked with it. But the Necromech literally shoves the warframe aside and goes, Necromech! It's time for Necromech! It never really blends with your warframe. Your warframe doesn't have any effect on your Necromech. It's not like your warframe jumps on the back or merges into the Necromech or anything kind of cool. It's like, no, it's a completely separate thing that is now just apparently in some situations better than the warframe for no reason.
It's been a good theme song, I have to admit.
I mean, yeah, they look cool now. I mean, I'm partly coming on board with and I don't like it, but I'm kind of turning on like Necromechs are cool now that you can hide the skull. I'm like, oh, that was my big. I think that was my big contention with it. I'm like, damn it, let's go play Necromech.
I'd like to expose your skull.
Yeah, I like my skull hidden in my fleshy body.
Fair enough. That makes sense.
I think part of the problem for me, I agree with what your Loz is saying with the whole, why would I take a warframe when I could just take a necromech instead? I think a lot of the problem comes down to that there's too much of a parallel draw between necromechs and warframes. The fact that, I can still move crazy fast. I can still, I can jump in the air and hover. I can... if it was a case of the necromechs was slow, like I could, there was pluses and negatives to a necromech, I think people would actually swap between them, but there aren't, right? It's like, the only negative I've thus far found is you can't pick up things. So, okay, let me just hop out as my operator, pick up that thing, and then jump back in my necromech. I'm in agreement with what Loz is saying. Like, there's no real huge problem.
They don't have the same mobility.
They have a lot. They have a lot of the same.
Yeah.
They jump really high.
They do, but I mean, it's more that in the lore is the my key thing of it is that what in theory. So my understanding is that the necromech research was halted because the Oracle went, these necromechs are kind of stupid, because obviously I assume at that point they probably didn't go and let's stick children in them, and then they're like, yeah, we've got this warframe project, we can stick children in them instead, and there we go, job done. But now they're like, hey, wait, we can stick the children in the necromechs. Why don't we just develop the necromechs? It's like, they're not that they're a bit clunky, right? We'll make newer ones then with jetpacks and laser rifles and 7 arms. Job done.
There was a lore entry.
I love it.
Zale. Zale told me about it. I think there is a lore entry that basically highlights necromechs were used against the sentients, and the sentients were taking them over. They were like, oh yeah, we're going to reprogram you. So the only reason why the necromechs are doing any use now is because we're actually controlling them, right? But it does feel like, okay, so now that we're here, fuck the warframes.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're going to stick our child suicide soldiers into something. We were going to set them in these infested killing machines, but we've realised these big clunky robots are probably better. Oh, okay, we don't need to just check out these infested things now. No need for that flash. Big clunky robots for the win.
I think the same thing is going to happen again when Planes of Deviri comes out. We're going to ignore warframes, ignore necromechs. Operator.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Bone horses.
You're breathtaking.
You don't need hoverboards. Bone horses.
Bone horses and dirty old shotguns.
Yeah,
actually, one thing I will say is this heavily reminds me of how Arkwing was introduced, where no, not that. With Arkwing, you had to level up your Arkwing completely independently of your Warframe. Originally, yes, your Aura mod had an impact on your Arkwing, the choice of Warframe, so on and so forth. But then they quickly changed that, so it was completely independent. But Arkwing was not well received at all. I'm wondering how well received necromechs are compared to Arkwing, and whether or not this is because you have to have completely different mods, you have to have completely different weapons. It is like a start again, just like Arkwing was.
They use Arkwing weapons, so you can just stick on your already existing Arkwing weapons.
Yes, but you still have to have the Arkwing weapons and the
base necromechs have special mods. Cool mods.
When I bought my necromech, both of them necromechs, and I went, I'll mod these. I only have one necromech mod. Okay, that's not happening. So to me, there is a parallel with starting again with this new stuff like Arkwing. Yes, okay, it's not as far back because you have at least the weapons, but I'm wondering how much better received are necromechs compared to Arkwing.
From what I've seen, people complain that they're far too squishy, but the fact that they were allowed to do bajillions of damage at one point, they're like, ooh, bajillions damage, we like that. But they're just too squishy. Is the common thing.
I mean, they are, but they aren't. Especially looking at Bone Widow, how she can actually heal herself using the first ability. You pick up an enemy, you start siphoning its life out, you heal yourself. And the other one, Voidrig, its second ability is a literal Tesla shield. Anything damages you, the damage gets jumped back. It's like Rhino's iron skin. So they both have something that can prolong their life. And if you throw on the vitality mod for necromechs, they instantly shoot up to 4,000 HP. A hell of a lot tankier than most Warframes.
They are bringing out new mods with every operation and every little thing. I mean, you can get mods in Operation or Fix Venom. So, there are ways of getting those mods, and there are ways of getting those things. But I think, as with everything that gets released into the game, there has to be a little bit of teething issues in the sense that you're a baby necromech, and you've got to grow up to be a big boy necromech or a big girl necromech. Get what I mean?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, exactly. I think I feel that stage has been done better with necromechs than it was with Arkwing. I think it's not. I think
so. I wasn't around for Arkwing, but I get the feeling that it was. I heard bad things about when Arkwings were released.
was not. It was like starting. It was as if you just installed Warframe again. It is as if you did Warframe again as it just came out of beta. Is how it felt. There was no. At that point, I think we'd had Ev0r's Prize had been released. There was the broken mods that you get for doing the Ev0r's Prize quest. You would have like a little bit of, oh yeah, I can see how mods work, and I got this stat a bit and this stat a bit. Not the best versions, but I got these ones. And then you went into Arkwing, and it was like there was just the original intro quest, and it dumped you in it, and you had no mods, and you were like, right, I'll struggle at doing the first mission to try and get one mod then. And it was just like, did you learn nothing from how they improved the original game, which they had improved, and then they went literally right back to the start as if, yeah, we'll just dump you in with nothing. It was terrible. But I think Necromite's better. Yeah, you can fly. I think that, and the event. I think it's overall, because that's what we're talking about. The event. I like it so far, and I think it'll be fine for keeping us over Christmas. I'm going to just finish on one last point that I do feel a bit negative. Is I do feel sorry for console players that they weren't able to release everything at the same thing. It's like, so the console players really aren't getting anything over Christmas, which does feel a bit. I don't know. Yeah, maybe just repeat something for them. I mean, they can't repeat Scarlet Spear, but give console players something just for them and say, look, we're sorry, but we'll repeat. Even Plague Star, at least that's something. Put some.
I was going to say Plague Star would be a good thing.
And the PC players are like, oh, why don't we get Plague Star? It's like, well,
we just get it when
you get this new event. Yeah, shut up.
Yeah. Well, no. I was saying, like, get Plague Star when the consoles get the event.
Yeah, true.
Just mirror it.
Swap them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm primarily a console player. I do have a PC account, but it's relatively it's not low level. It's MR12, but it's not.
It's not. Yeah, it's not your primary account, so it's not your.
I don't have everything, and it's not my main account. So yeah, I'm kind of sitting there thinking, shit, I still have to wait a month before I really have to go balls out on the on this operation, and how much of I play it on PC might affect how much I want to play it on PS4 when it actually comes out. So I've got to try and balance myself a little bit. So it is a bit of a pain. Yeah. Oh well, what can we do?
Cool. Right. I think let's move forward. Let's move on to the graphs. We've done our
no. One last thing before we go graph. Separate thing. Right. Okay. Because it won't take long. But so before we finish off, what do you guys think of predictions of what you want to see for Warframe in 2021? Start with Xeno.
I want to see the new war. Right, I just fucking do it. Fuck's sake. Okay. I'm holding out to that. I'm probably like the last person that actually gives a shit about the new war anymore. Everyone else has just quit playing the game. The new war, I want to see Corpus, Railjack, and I want to see Squad Link. Those are the three things I really want.
What more Squad Link usage then?
No, I just want it to fucking exist.
Right.
No, because what we had was like a whole test to see whether or not Squad Link would work, right? I'm talking about, no, it can't run like an event. It needs to be proper integration between player missions. Yeah? Right. So, you're doing this thing. Well, while you're here, you could do this thing for Xeno, who is currently doing his mission, and it will give you a bonus and him access to do something else. Like, do you want to do it? Yes or no? But like, right, the way, anyway, you get the point. Moving on.
No, that's good.
Greg, what do you want? 2021.
The new war is really where it's at for me. Of course,
I'm not alone.
The Corpus stuff is still coming. No, you're definitely not alone. The Corpus stuff is coming. We know that's coming. So I definitely want that. But it's all about the new war for me because that storyline hasn't progressed.
Yeah.
And I really want it to progress. And there's so many really damn cool things that can happen that I know they've already got built in the background because they've shown us some of it before. And when I say us, I don't mean creators. I mean everyone. They've shown it to us a year ago in dev streams. I want to see that stuff realized because we were drooling at that time. And I know why they've had to put it on the back burner. I'm not, COVID's not their fault. And if it was, DE, naughty. But
New conspiracy theory. DE started COVID.
just so
To
they can
avoid-
delay the new war.
Yeah,
We've done it. We figured it out. But yeah, I just want the new war. I really want to know where this story's going. It hasn't done anything. Scarlet Spear was interesting. Orphix Venom is interesting, but they are not progressions of the story. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's me.
Lucas.
3 for 3. New war.
Oh my god, I'm completely shocked.
One of the biggest things for me with Warframe is the lore of the game. Like as I mentioned to you prior to the recording, the whole effigy thing with Chroma, it was a sentient he literally picked up and went, "This is mine now," and threw it over his freaking shoulder. I love the lore.
Spoilers.
What do you mean spoilers?
Thank you.
But you know, that's one thing I love about Warframe: the lore, the story, the universe building. You know, it's not just like a linear story that they're building. They're building a universe, a galaxy. You know, it's the way I see it is it's on par with something like Star Wars. What they're building, you know, it's you got the main story that's going on, but then there's other little stories in the background that don't even relate to that big central story. And I need more of the big central story. Oh. And also Zephyr Deluxe.
Zephyr Deluxe.
Loz?
Floppy Zephyr.
Yeah, it's interesting that I'd love that nobody's mentioned the very paradox. It's like everyone's fine for that being way off in the distance, as we want this content. I remember after that Tenno they announced it, and there was an interview with Steve, and even though they showed everything and the very paradox, he was still worried that they weren't showing enough new things. And it's clear that that's not really what people want. People want the plot, which they loved from Second Dream, War Within. You got Chains of Harrow and Sacrifice, kind of all those the sort of quests for story. That's what we want to see, and we've been starved for it. And just get on with that. Don't worry about your giant crazy art concept with your cyberpunky dystopian future timeline for shenanigans. No one wants that. We want the plot to continue instead of having it drip fed to a salami style, just tiny slithers at a time. Yeah,
I think that's 100% the point. If you asked me a year ago what I wanted, I would have said the very paradox.
There we go.
In fact, I'm pretty sure I did say that a year ago when we did our Cephalon Squared podcast on what we wanted to see in 2020.
That's out of everyone's mind now. That's interesting. Right, cool. Shall we move on, Xeno, to the graphs? What were we talking about last week on these graphs?
We were talking about you actually putting in the time for the graphs.
Yep. Scrolling up.
Right.
Typing.
So our first graph for last week is partly obscured by lovely Lucas. How much do you use melee? Right. So because last week the topic was about melee hit versus melee attack speed versus melee multi-hit. That was the concept. But anyway, so how much do you use melee? So 0% said only when I'm forced to, 0% said I exclusively use melee, 5% said I rarely use melee, 18% said I prefer melee over gunplay, and 77% said about 50-50. Where do you guys sit?
So, but just to explain to them, so melee multi-hit. So it was kind of adding a new stat to melee weapons. So imagine either like a vibro blade that vibrates slightly, so that when you hit it once, you see multiples. And I saw in the comments actually another great example would be like for chain weapons, like a chain sword or a chain axe. That as you hit the enemy, obviously it's then cutting still. So it'd be a new way to do more damage.
It was a bad Limp Bizkit joke. I said it skins their ass raw. I would say I would be in the majority, or probably even more than that. I'd say more than 50-50.
So you prefer melee over gunplay?
Yeah.
Cool. Lucas?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a fence sitter as well. Like I do love the melee, but if most of the weapons in the game, like the gunplay in the game, I'm not a 100% behind. There's very, very specific primaries and secondaries I will go out of my way to use. And if I'm not using them, then melee.
Loz?
I wouldn't say 50-50, but I'd probably click that anyway.
And I rarely use melee. I just shoot it. I can shoot it from afar. I can shoot it next to me. But I can only melee close to me. So just shoot it. So no, I rarely use melee. Interesting. I was kind of expecting people to go, I prefer using melee because it gets me crazy damage numbers. But
those red crits.
Yeah. Those rainbow crits. Right. So the next graph we had the next question we had is, do you suffer from RSI while playing games? So this became part of the conversation. It was really interesting. And 19% said only if I don't take precautions, so like doing like wrist exercises and things like this. We ended up going over some of them during the episode. 24% said yes, and 57% said no. Greg, do you suffer from RSI?
I mostly play console. I mostly play on controller, so I would say no. But when I play on PC, yes.
Interesting. Lucas?
Nope.
Loz?
Nope.
I think I said this last week. It's only I had to rebind it when I had shift as run, and I had to hold shift to run. So I'm always holding shift and W. That would strain my hand. So instead, I moved it to my mouse, so I don't have to. And also, if I use my left hand on a controller and my right hand on a mouse, that is the optimal way, in my opinion, to play.
And I'm a no in that as well. Right, moving on to the next one. Right, so this was the crux of the conversation. Melee attack speed versus melee multi-hit. Now, with attack speed, it changes the combo times. It changes. Well, I mean, the pauses are now gone, thank God. But we were trying to identify what do people want more. Do they prefer to just wildly swing their weapon around as fast as physically possible, or would they like to do the same damage output but instead with multi-hit, so you can see the cool animations better rather than just a weird blur? So 14% said that they didn't care, 36% said that they prefer multi-hit, and 50% said that they prefer attack speed. A little bit hard for you guys to comment maybe, but Lucas, what?
Multi-hit.
Multi-hit, okay.
I go with multi-hit, yeah, simply because with the attack speed, if you get your attack speed up too high, it becomes a little bit more unpredictable, harder to control. It becomes a bit more messy the higher your attack speed gets. So if you were to go from a high attack speed instead to a multi-hit, that's more easier to control, much more manageable, then that'd be something I would 100% get behind.
Greg?
Lucas makes interesting points, but I think it's already a melee meta. I don't think we need to do anything. It's I don't care either way, I think, is the answer I'm looking for, but Lucas does make some good points.
Loz?
Though last week I wasn't really a fan of a multi-hit thing, after seeing somebody suggest the idea of chain swords and adding that as a reason, because I know we've got the Ripkas, which I always felt like were an underused weapon and they're just so cool. So adding it as a unique thing for certain weapons and maybe as a rare mod that has a limited edition of that, I think could be interesting. Especially I think the goal was to reduce attack speed so that because the repetitive strain injury was because the person had to keep tapping the button really fast to keep up with the attack speed, and so this way the melee could be slowed down in general because they wouldn't have to tap as much, and the damage could be moved over to multi-hit. So I'm warming up to the idea of multi-hit. I like the concept,
and I am in the don't care. So interesting. Right.
The cop out.
What do you mean the cop out? Greg said the same thing.
Yeah, but Greg's special and you're not.
Greg, how do I become as special as you?
You got to care a little bit more.
Oh,
You got to at least pretend to care.
I
Give
don't.
the impression that you care, rather than just saying don't care.
Yeah.
Fair. I was just trying to move us on, but okay. So
pretended we just had a good point.
fuck you did. Fuck you did. That was it. That was it. Moving on to the next one, which is so thoroughly obscured by everyone. Right. So, do you use a macro for melee? So this also came up where people like, oh yeah, I use a macro which makes my Latron fire a gajillion times faster, so on and so forth. So 5% said yes, 14% said that they used to, and 82% said no. Lucas.
No.
Greg.
I didn't even know you could.
Loz.
No.
Liar. Right, so
What? No.
You used to.
No, not for melee. I used to use it for semi-automatic weapons. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. You used to. So, and I'm a no. Right. Okay. And then, last but not least, and to make sure I actually do put it up on the thing, do you feel crit chance needs to be reworked? I can't even remember why we spoke about this, or maybe I just needed a fifth question. Who knows?
So we were talking about because I struggled to understand melee hit as a concept in the game. I did then complained about crit weapons. Why does so you have a gun and you shoot it in the face, does bonus damage. So what is a crit damage? Is that a better bullet? So randomly in your pool of bullets, there's just a super bullet, and then there's super crits. You got red crits and orange crits. So those super bullets randomly. Why don't we just build super bullets only? It just seems weird how that works.
Yeah, that was it. Good job. Good job, Loz. So 5% said that they didn't care. 18% said more percentage based, less locational based, right? 32% said more location based, less percentage based, so where you shoot them on the body, and 45% said that is fine. Greg.
Crit is in every game ever.
Yes, but the point is that this is.
So can I explain to you where crit came from originally? It literally was from D&D pen and paper role playing games. Because when you're sitting around a table and your character is, I swing my axe at the mighty orc. It's like, okay, but how do you make the game work for you caught him in the ghoulies between his legs? Aha, you've done bonus damage. So that was what the chance of a critical hit was. It was the chance that you hit them in a vulnerable location. But the thing is that concept is carried into first-person shooters and everything, where you have the ability to aim already. So that already accounts for shooting in the head, shooting between in the ghoulies. And then the ghoulies. So why then do they also decide we'll put crit as a concept in addition to your aiming at you aim at the head, so you do more damage, right? But that bullet can also, for some reason, it did critical, so it struck them in a vulnerable position and did a critical hit. It doesn't seem it is very weird that both concepts are in. It works because it just adds more concepts to the game, but what can anyone explain to me what a critical hit to the head is? I mean, what happens there?
I'm gonna play the Xeno here and say, I don't care. That doesn't. I don't care. Whatever. I understand what they are. Shut up, Loz.
So just to clarify, is this a don't care, or is it's fine as it is?
It's a don't care. It's cool. Don't care because it's fine as it is.
That's not one of the options. Moving on, Lucas.
I'm gonna play a Greg here and say Loz has a lot of valid points, and I understand where he's coming from, but no, it's fine.
All right.
That was brilliant.
Loz.
Yeah, Loz has a lot of valid points.
But you don't care, do you? I admit it.
Okay. Okay, right. No. There's okay. Fine. I'll accept that. I don't mind crits being in the game overly too much. But then explain to me how a crit can crit. Because we get red crits, then we get orange crits, then you get super magical rainbow crits. How is it that the crits can crit and there's I
thought you had yellow crits and then red crits.
Is it yellow then red then orange? Is it?
I don't know if there's one beyond red.
Yellow then orange and red, but that's fine.
There we go.
It's all to do with how guaranteed you are to have a type of crit. So if you have 100% guaranteed likelihood of hitting a crit, you will get yellow numbers. If you're going to get 150, you will have 100% chance of getting a yellow number and a 50% chance of hitting an orange number. Why? I don't care.
It goes back.
Yeah. Space magic.
Space magic.
Okay.
I just want to point out it's why I turn off the damage numbers most of the time, because otherwise I feel shotguns kill the enemies with walls of mathematics that appear when I pull the trigger. Because that's what happens. They disappear into a hail of numbers and then they're dead. It's like, oh god, maths, the most deadly thing in space.
If all of our warframes are a result of an infestation, why does only Nidus give you space aids?
And what's the other one? Why is it only Oberon doesn't use infested bits to build?
I don't know if they've changed that. But
you're out of the space age. You make a good point on the space age.
And to follow on from Loz's, I don't know what he answered. I prefer it to be more location based than percentage. Fucking aim. Right.
Fair enough.
Right, that's it for the graphs, and now we're going to move on to the community responses, because I forgot to do the spotter questions.
Cool. Okay, there's not too many this week. So Anarchy Gaming last week said, I have joined the fridge, and thus my lurk begins. So that's Xeno's Discord server. There's probably a link in the description below. Yeah. Please join it. You can moan at Xeno when he doesn't actually pay attention to his patrons.
Actually, I want to highlight a savior this week, because that's the wrong one. I want to give a special shout out to JJ, because they pointed out I forgot to add in some of the times to the index thing, and as a result the bar was not working properly at all. So thank you very much, JJ, for pointing out I'm Muppet.
Okay. Piffelix14, honestly, I do kind of hope they introduce an Xeno slot mod, which is more or less a full auto trigger from Destiny 2, where holding down the trigger makes the weapon auto fire. No matter if it's they say scout or pulse or anything, that's, single shot and burst weapons. Maybe have it like reduce the damage or something to compensate for the auto fire trigger mode, just saying. Some folks would gladly get such on both primaries and secondaries. Tribus is to this day waiting for this, for his Toxicist to be able to auto fire. Oh, sorry, Tribus is to this day waiting for his Toxicist to be able to fire. That is what I think this is a great one from Piffelix, because I wouldn't mind sacrificing a mod slot, even the extra slot, to be able to change any weapon into a full automatic weapon. I mean, I'm not sure for consoles how big of an issue it is, but I always hated that things like I used it for the Latron. I loved using the Latron Prime, but forever going click, 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 click for every shot, when I would just hold down a separate button on my mouse that would just have it in full auto, so I could just hold that one button and it would shoot. I think putting in a mod, I think that's sensible. I don't see anything wrong with that.
I think it's good. It starts to step on the toes of other weapons, though, with certain weapons. For some of them, I think the difference between the weapons is that one's a full auto and one's not. But in the end, sometimes, what's the difference? Who cares? If it's a better weapon and you want it full auto, then have a mod slot. That's your choice to use that mod slot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say that we do like when Xeno's bar works properly. Go on, Lucas.
I think, as I was saying beforehand, that
that's your bar.
What?
That
ignore me.
Okay.
All good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on, Lucas, talk.
As I was saying beforehand, there's a lot of primary weapons I'm not a big fan of. If you had the ability to alter them in some way, change up how they work fundamentally as a weapon, then there's probably a lot more weapons I would get behind. So I think this would be a fantastic addition.
Loz?
Be fun.
What, you want the next one?
No. I want your opinion.
On what? On my suggestion? Or sorry, on Piffelix's thing?
Yes, on Piffelix's comment.
I already gave it.
Did you?
Yeah, because I said this is the one thing I used a macro for, and that I'd be glad to take it.
No, I don't remember that happening. Personally, Personally, I'm down for this. However, I don't think. Hey, I'm more interested in what Greg and Lucas have to say. Right? They're very, very pretty people, and just listening to them. Yeah, I still don't know what the fuck you do. Anyway, but in my instance, I'm interested in this. However, I don't think DE would implement this on the Exodus mod because this would change the DPS. The whole point of the Exodus is to be sort of like a cosmetic, you're picking up ammo easier. It's to make space for exclusively secondary, less.
No. How about I'll clarify and expand on that then. Fine. I see what you're saying. Very good point. But what you could do is you have it that if you tap the fire button normally, you can fire faster, but by holding it, you will fire it, but not as but it still becomes automatic, but not at the fastest rate possible. Therefore, it technically is a DPS lost, but a quality of life increase. How about that?
I don't think people would use it then.
I would. I'd still use it. Be able to just hold down the button and shoot. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, a fire mode change, definitely. I mean, even if this one's probably controversial, but even if they would add one that gave the ability to fire the same way as the Tigris or the Zylok do, the pull the trigger, shoot once, release trigger, shoot again, I'd be okay with that.
There we go.
Well, if it's a mod, then it's fine. Yeah, because then it's down to the actual individual person's choice to use that mod. As long as it's not Exodus, I agree with Xeno.
Yeah, I can see Exodus, that there is a thing with Exodus and that it is not supposed to affect damage. Yeah, that is an important thing to remember, yeah. Anyway, let's move on so quickly. Great Ev0r and Zrugel pointed out that you can bind the melee to mouse wheel without macroing, just directly from the control settings. Have mine bound to mouse wheel down because pressing E was getting tedious. See, I think I might actually do this as well. So you just flick the mouse wheel and you just keep meleeing. So that sounds pretty useful. Zrugel and JJ24 pointed out that the Paracesis can't kill Von Ballists when they're in their ghost mode, but Zaku can. Interestingly enough, apparently Zrugel tested. So that's interesting, just that I'd never realized. Strombus. What's that say? Other than being a that's something for me to moan at Xeno4. I'll do that later. And yes, and lastly, JJ24. Do you suffer from RSI when playing games? Yes. As a result, I've been playing with a controller more often now, which feels more completely different than a keyboard and mouse. I want to suggest to JJ24, try my method, which is your left hand has a controller. Literally just hold the left hand of a controller, and your right hand holds a mouse. In my opinion, is the most comfortable way of playing gaming. Because the thing is that most of the time with the keyboard, you're just holding W. That's what you're doing. That's all you're really doing your left hand most of the time is holding W. I mean, maybe you're pressing other things as well, but like for the majority of Warframe or most third-person shooters, you're trying to push a character forward, and that's just by holding down one button. Whereas gripping a controller and just pushing the stick forward just is so much more ergonomically satisfying and just not as painful as just W.
Just to go on the back of that, do they need a mouse that has more buttons than the Sun?
You might need a gaming mouse. I do have a gaming mouse with more buttons than the Sun.
Wait, how many buttons does the Sun have?
None.
It's a weird thing where Xeno says about things. He says greater than the Sun or less than the Sun, and you have to kind of just flow with it and don't question him.
Okay, right, but let's finish that. More than 3 buttons. There you go.
Hang on a sec. Let's finish with that, and let's move on to what's next, Xeno?
The memes, except for you didn't write down the time for the community responses. Now I'm going to have to bloody do it.
Right, well, that's your job. Yeah, that is your job, actually.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. How can I read out the community responses and write down the time?
It's never been my job.
Yes, it has.
Never.
That one's always your job.
Never.
Okay, well, now we're on to the memes. Anyway, so... Oh, God, it's my Discord crashed.
Yeah.
Yes! We now finished the episode.
We've been doing memes forever.
Was this? Right.
Forever.
Yeah, ready? Are you ready?
I had to add a song to your show.
Thanks.
So, unknown, get rid of that. Thank you. Right, sorry, yeah, my thing messed up. I'm good. Right. We love memes. So all these memes come from the r/memeframe subreddit, and we're just going to go through them now. If you ever are bored during the week, go to r/memeframe subreddit and go find some hilarious good memes. Always worth a laugh. So, and there's loads of people doing a load of good work. Literally every day, there's fresh memes. So let's go for the first one, which is called "Suffering from Success." And actually, I picked this one specifically because it was similar to the topic on the last episode, I think, of Cephalon Squared, because you guys were just doing a topic on
talk about endurance runs. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you might think this is a bit of a big dig at DE, but it is actually, I think we've talked about it in the past, it actually is a mechanical system that comes in and gives people bans when they're doing farm long for so long because they're getting too many resources. But I thought, yep, I saw this and went, I've got to put this one on here. Suffering from Success. So DE, people doing a 4-hour farm. I would like to award you with the highest honor I can bestow. Ban.
Funny, I literally saw that exact meme yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was looking. It could have been Facebook
Twitter.
or something like that.
Twitter.
Someone posted it in our Discord.
There you go.
Right. Then...
Right, meme number 2. This is brilliant, but I like this.
Accurate.
So this is the Unreal Tournament weapons, which now come into Warframe, which you can get if you download the Epic Games launcher and install the Warframe through that, and then log in. You'll get these 3 Unreal Tournament skins. I think somebody did explain to me that Steve has mentioned it's limited time now, but they will come back in another form later, so you don't have to do it this way, and I assume that's how they're going to come to console as well through another means. But there we go. Well, like, Epic Games is great, but I want these skins.
But the important thing is, as soon as you do it, and so what you do is you have to go into the Epic Games launcher, you have to install the game, and you have to redeem the pack, and then as soon as you log in, the game is linked to your Epic Games account, and then you're sorted. After that, you can just uninstall it from the Epic Games launcher and just continue to play on Steam or independently.
Yeah,
and you keep the skins. Yeah, you keep the skins. So
I imagine that's what most people are going to do.
Yeah, as you should.
My plan.
Right.
I don't think you're going to come to console personally.
Really?
No,
I can't. No,
they're not going to, because consoles get their own stuff.
Epic exclusive, yeah.
No. Steve said, somebody just explained to me. Steve has said already that though they're time limited on Epic Games Launcher, so this will stop. But then in the future, these skins will come back, and you'll be able to obtain them through another means. So Steve has apparently said that. I don't know. No, I think it's kind of just as a time limited thing, and I bet you though. I'm going to hold that hope.
I reckon they'll stick to the Epic. Yeah, they should stick to the Epic Games thing, because it's Epic. Unreal is Epic's IP. So
yeah.
But it was.
No,
but it's Epic's IP, but it's not exclusively Epic's IP. Well, it's Epic's IP, but at the same time, DE have a history of working on Unreal. Like literally, I remember. So I mean, like,
well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So DE do have the ability to sort of thing. I mean, what is it? Steve loves giving out his story about how they had a contractor come in at one point, and there's like, oh, you guys make games. What games do they make? It's like, oh yeah, I made Unreal Tournament this. He went, and I think the contractor says like, what about that stupid one where that person put in that lightning sniper rifle? That was awful. Why'd they do that? And then Steve went, yeah, that was my idea.
That was me. Oops.
It's him that put it in, and it's like, oops. Yeah. So I think that I'm hoping. I will check on that, but I think they will come to console at some point.
And I like that Elmo is snorting cocaine. Moving on.
Theme number 3. Bro, stop giving shit for free. You are ruining the market, bro. Me giving out rad as fuck Riven's augments mods for free to newbies. Riven scalpers. Communist detected on American soil. Lethal thought engaged.
Lol.
Nobody likes the Riven Mafia.
Nope.
Right. Meme number 4. Okay.
What the hell?
Nefanyo cosplay.
That that's high panting, all right.
What the fuck?
I don't even understand. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Meme number. So we'll just move on. Yeah, I know. What's with the eyes?
Is that
Fly's
just
eyes. That's
No,
an
I think-
Australian joke, but hey.
I think that's just drawn on. You know, it's yeah. Anyway, moving on. Number 5.
It's just crazy. He banish go brr. Got an extra weapon? They're not going to let us just walk out of here. And I took that personally. Oh, Limbo. Right, and then the last meme, because Xeno's saying nobody actually cares about the new war. Let's discuss. Where war? This one got crazy up folks.
Yeah. I
There we
assume
go.
this is referring to explicitly the new war.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Where war?
Where war?
Oh.
Where war? Jeez.
I'm not alone.
You're not
You're
alone,
definitely
Xeno.
not alone.
Yeah.
You're in
Right.
Good company.
Yes. Okay, so now let's move on to the community shoutouts week, and I will do the time for you, Xeno.
Wait, you didn't do the time for the memes?
You did the times for the memes.
I was trying to get you to react. Never mind.
But I've already got it in front of me.
Right. Have you given them the community shoutouts?
Yeah, it's all that.
Cool. Right. So our first community shout out is Limbo and Mirage Prime by Cyan.
Damn. Damn.
Let's have a
Loz.
look at
Was it shading?
Oh, wow. Oh, God. Oh, for, for a sec, I thought that was Limbo's shoulder pad. That's a cool shoulder pad. Wait, that's Mirage.
I mean, it would make a cool shoulder pad.
The only thing that I think is off on this is just the fact that there's just such a height discrepancy between the two of them. However, yeah, still amazing piece.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
No, she's kneeling on a stool next to him.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. It makes sense.
I was also going to go with he's standing on a box, but moving on to the second community shout out, which is Nidus by Shadrad.
Damn.
Either people are confused at what they're looking at, or Loz has broken something.
Well, not, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
trying to-
Make it up.
oh, there it is. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I really like this piece. I like to just stare at it and go, oh.
Yeah, it's definitely one. This is definitely one that I just want to stare at for a while.
Yeah.
It definitely
Mm.
screws with your eyes a little bit. Like, where's the Nidus? Not that.
Yeah.
There's Nidus.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Nidus.
Out of interest, are you guys actually struggling to see Nidus? Because I saw it straight away.
Oh, I had to
I
scroll
am.
down.
You
I
had
had
to
to
scroll.
scroll. I was like, "What's this mess?" Oh wait.
No, I love it. Water painting. Good job. right.
Mm.
The third community shout out is Mercenaries by Plickit Plickit.
That's cool.
Damn, that's awesome.
Mm.
The fourth community shout out is Match Made in Heaven by Ev0r. Ev0r.
Mm.
Nice piece.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ooh.
The fifth community shout out is Lavos by Cole Rudge.
Oh,
Chibi
nice.
Chibi Lavos.
Cute.
And the sixth community shout out is Snake Eyes by MDRLOz. MDRLOz? I think it's MDRLOz. Yep. And I think this is like on the way
Is that
to.
a concept for a helmet? Is that?
I think so, yes, because that's what a
I
lot
like
of
that.
the artists do is they do that.
That's pretty cool.
That is a cool helmet.
Mm.
That is actually very close to what the alt helmet for Lavos is. Look, that looks awesome. That's really cool.
Right. I don't know if this was done before the alt helmet was revealed or anything like that. So, anyway. So that's it for the community shout-outs. And now we're coming to the end of the episode. Are you guys ready for my quote? Is Lars ready to take the time?
No, because I just closed that window. Oh, right, no, it's fine. I'll get the time. Yeah. Right, go for the quote.
Right. Cool. I managed to send the sentient back into the Void Rift, but I don't think I'm going to make it off this galleon alive. Excalibur attacked me for some reason. He has an army of weaponized ospreys, Corpus technology. He says he's the only one who's going to be the new Hayden Tenno. No one else. Do you want it again?
Interesting.
Go again. Let's have it again.
Okay.
Do it.
I managed to send the sentient back into the Void Rift, but I don't think I'm going to make it off this galleon alive. Excalibur attacked me for some reason. He has an army of weaponized ospreys, Corpus technology. He says he's the only one who's going to be the new Hayden Tenno. No one else. I think Loz has worked out what it is.
Oh, I got it the first time. Yeah, I know what it is. So I'll help them out by saying,
no. Let them ask the questions.
No, but they might not know they're allowed to ask questions. You're allowed to work out with questions when was the film made? Before or after 2000? What's the genre? You can ask questions like that to help out because it's very hard sometimes.
Film. This was in a movie.
Yes.
So we normally go for film quotes. So it's a quote from a film, and what Xeno's done is he's changed all the nouns and verbs to Warframe ones. We call it tenifying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So what was the original? Do you want the quote again?
I'm just going to say this now.
Okay.
Let Lucas say what he's going to say.
But, I got last one successfully the last time we were on the show. So, this one's all on Greg.
Right. Okay. So the quote, right? The modified quote. I managed to send the sentient back into the Void Rift, but I don't think I'm going to make it off this galleon alive. Excalibur attacked me for some reason. He has an army of weaponized ospreys, Corpus technology. He says he's the only one who's going to be the new Hayden Tenno. No one else.
Sure, I know this from somewhere, especially that he's going to be the new something technology. I know that from somewhere, but I don't know where.
Hey, do you want to ask any questions?
It's a sci-fi movie?
No, it's not sci-fi.
Interesting.
Oh, actually, they've marked it on here as sci-fi.
No, it has science fiction in it. Come
Elements.
on, don't go with what's marked on. Marked by what is it? Isn't it?
No. It actually has marked sci-fi on it.
Oh.
But
is it out of a series?
What do you mean out of a series? As in, it's a series of films.
Series of films, yeah.
Yes.
Is it partly fantasy?
No.
I don't know. Do you have any ideas?
I'll give you this. Mm-hmm. It's a superhero movie.
Ah. Interesting. Is it a recent superhero movie?
Yes.
Then I've completely written myself out because I haven't watched any new superhero movie. Is it a Marvel movie?
It is.
I'm going to say one of the Avengers movies?
Nope.
No. Lucas, your turn. I got it down to Marvel. Come on. Get it in there. Technology.
I want to say Black Panther.
Nope. Loz, do you want to put them out of their misery?
It's the second Spider-Man film.
I can't stand Spider-Man. There you go. Got it. There we are.
Right. Yes, it was Spider-Man Far From Home.
That's the one.
That's supposed to. Oh no, Homecoming's supposed to be good.
Far From Home's quite good as well.
They're right. I think Homecoming was better, but then the first thing is always normally a bit better. But yeah, Far From Home is all right. That Far From Home is all right, and it's Magneto at the end. And in case people do want to see it, I won't spoil that then. But
so who at the end?
No, God, I said Magneto, didn't I? I mean Mysterio.
Yes, Mysterio.
There's the guy in a cloak with a silly hat.
They all are guys with cloaks and silly hats.
They always have been.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but there's something about Spider-Man that just doesn't mesh with me. I love all the other Marvel stuff, but just Spider-Man. Don't know what it is. That's my excuse for not knowing it.
Cool.
Plus, I'm old and dumb.
And Lucas's is that he's got better stuff to do. Got it.
He's too good looking for the rest of us.
No, my excuse is I succeeded last time, and this was all
okay.
Greg.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Right, well, that's it for this episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Greg, Lucas, brilliant having you on yet again. Where can the people catch you for your Cephalon Squared?
A number of places. Cephalonsquared.com is probably the best place to go. You can find out how to join our Discord and all the other cool places from there. But otherwise, I'm Mad Capsules all over the Twitterverse, and Lucas is not.
No, I'm Silverlight. SILBR, LGHT, all over the interwebs. So, yeah.
Cool. I'll put a link into your website and stuff, or your details in the description. I'll make sure to do that. And yeah, right. Well, thanks very much for coming on, and we will.
Thank you very much for having us.
Shit, how do I get the end screen to turn on, Loz? How do I get the end screen? Okay, I fixed it.
Hit the button.
I fixed it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Look, it's all the patrons you forget to do things for.
Oh, fix it!
That one, and that one, and that one.
Some of them are yellow. They extra special.
Yes.